Welcome to my off-grid adventures. I'm Frank, and this is Pumpkin, the mini golden doodle, who's just about 2 months old. We've had her for just a couple of weeks now, and we want to just share a quick video with you today about 3 of the attachments and accessories to our tractor that we regret purchasing. And the clue for you is that 2 of them are in the background here. You can tell Pumpkin was so upset she's even giving me a little whine about it. Are you upset? Or you see something? But to be positive today, I want to also share 3 implements that I love. So we'll do that at the end. We're going to go in descending order today by the amount that I paid for each of these tractor implements and accessories, starting with the Storm Stump Bucket, then moving on to the Titan Ballast Box, and lastly, the Speeco Quick Hitch that I purchased. First, let me give you just a little bit of context. I purchased our tractor just a few months ago, and I had been researching which tractor to purchase, what type of tractor, and what type of implements I should buy. The tractor that I ended up buying is a 2023 John Deere 3033R with a cab. It came with a loader and bucket, and it only had 20 hours of use on it. I'm very grateful that I was able to find that and got it for a great price from some great people. So super happy with that purchase. I had saved up enough money to purchase all the implements that I anticipated needing on our property, and I chose to do that so that I didn't continually nickel and dime myself into constantly buying things for this. I wanted to just take it all off in one big bite and buy everything that I anticipated needing. So I did my research. I bought all the implements that I expected to be able to use, and I think that was about 10 of them. I really appreciate the excellent assistance that I received from YouTubers who shared their opinions on tractor types and brands and things to look for in a tractor, and also in each of the accessories. People like Brock from Rock Hill Farms and Courtney from Good Works Tractors, and just a number of others that I really appreciated their input on what I needed. I definitely would have bought different things that I wouldn't have been happy with. I probably wouldn't have been happy with almost anything, especially the tractor, if I had gone with what I thought I wanted initially. So I am glad that I did all that research, but I just want to provide now for you some of my feedback after having owned these implements for a few months. Some mistakes that I made that I'll have to correct in my own way. I don't want to put down any brands today. I think that a lot of these brands that we're going to talk about are great brands, and they work really well for other people in different scenarios. But for my setup, I ended up regretting just 3 of the things that I purchased, and one of them, I'll admit, was just purely out of vanity. But the first of my regrets was the Storm Stump Bucket. We had a really bad winter storm last year that took out dozens of trees from our property, and I wanted to be able to remove those trees and their stumps with the stump bucket. Plus, I have quite a few projects where I wanted to use it to dig, and that's for such things as a well on our property and to dig holes to plant trees in. With the model that I purchased, there are 2 flaws in it, and I believe that they have been corrected since this model was made, so I'm assuming the new Storm Stump Buckets are fine. But this one I bought with the John Deere green color and with the John Deere Quick Attach functionality. But these pins that you see at either end that go into the John Deere Quick Attach are not spaced out correctly, and they won't go in without a lot of force from a sledgehammer. And not only that, but the pins holes that the linch pins go through are too small to fit a normal size linch pin. So you have to put a smaller one in that is weaker, and those bend. So those are 2 really catastrophic things to have with this. It makes it quite useless. I can't get it on, and then I can't get it off because the pins get stuck, and then I have to spend like an hour or so trying to cut it off with some tools. So I don't intend on using this again, at least not in the condition it's in. Before I decide exactly what I'm going to do, I'm either going to sell it to someone who knows how to fix it themselves, or I might try my hand at shaving off some of the sides of the pegs and drilling out the holes to be larger. But beyond just that, though, this one isn't really right for the use that I need for it. It is a very heavy stump bucket, and the upside of that is that it's going to be strong. It's going to cut through things with those serrated edges and do a good job and last a long time. But the downside to that weight is it means you have less ability to lift things with your loader because so much of the weight is already being taken up with the stump bucket. So what I really should have gone with initially is the GoodWorks Tractors stump bucket that they make themselves, and I believe that's probably what I'm going to do. I likely will just sell this to someone who can get it operational for themselves at a good price, and then I'll likely buy the stump bucket from Courtney at GoodWorks Tractors. I'll put a link to it in the description if you'd like to see it. But that one is a lighter version of a stump bucket. It also is narrower, and I think that'll just work better for the ways that we're going to be using it. I don't really need to scoop up a ton of dirt. I want to be able to dig easily and pop up roots and dig kind of straight down for some well drilling and stuff like that. But I think that the GoodWorks Tractor one will serve me better. All right, that's the most expensive of the implements that I purchased that I regret buying. The next is this Titan Ballast Box. And the main reason that I regret buying this is the condition that it came in. The packaging and the box that this came in were in perfect condition. It wasn't dented or damaged at all, and yet the ballast box itself was badly damaged on the inside. And that's just uncalled for. That means someone packed that up knowing that it was damaged and sent it to a customer who paid full price for a new product. I've heard from others on YouTube that have had problems with Titan products, and I understand that they're some of the cheapest implements out there, so a lot of people probably buy them. Let me know in the comments what your experience has been, if you've had a good experience or if you've had any issues. I'd love to learn more about it. But I'm not going to speak ill of the company. I'm just going to say in this case, whoever packed it up should have paid better attention to it. And also the customer service, when I went to Titan and complained, they gave me, I think, a $50 discount off of it. I kind of wanted to have a perfect condition one sent to me. I didn't really care about the $50. I just don't like this. It has sharp edges. It'll fill with water and expand as it freezes, and just other people can cut themselves on it. So I don't yet know what I'm going to do with it. I'll probably hold on to it and use it when I need it. But that's the other reason I regret the ballast box at all, really, of any brand, is I didn't realize that many of the implements that I have that I do enjoy using are just about the same weight as a ballast box, and they don't take up a whole lot of space. So I haven't actually had a need to hook this up since the first week or two that I bought it. And that's because at that time I didn't have the implements yet in hand. So at that time I needed the ballast weight. But now I typically have a rake on the back that's quite heavy and gives me enough ballast, and it's just fine. So those are the first two things that I regret purchasing. The third is just the Speeco Quick Hitch. And the main reason I regret buying that is that it's red, and it just stood out like a sore thumb on this all green tractor, and most of my implements are green. I ended up selling that to someone and gave them a good deal on it. But the other thing is that the John Deere iMatch that I now have for the 3-point hitch, I also believe is a higher quality. It just seems to function better and smoother, and it seems to be a better build. And it really wasn't that much more money. So I just wish I had gone with that in the first place. So those are the three that I regret. Now let's talk about the three that I love and I'm so happy to have. The first is definitely my Grapple. That's the most expensive of these three that I'm going to mention. My Grapple has been so useful for so many things. I went with a rake style Grapple, which is perfect for how I needed it here, because I do have a lot of fallen limbs and brush that I want to be able to grab. I also have spaces where I really want to use it as a rake, really, and just raking up and leveling some areas of the ground. And the Grapple's strength is so strong, it will actually break through small limbs just from the hydraulic pressure, which surprised me. But it'll pick up any tree that I need it to on our property and move it effortlessly. That's definitely worth the price of admission when it comes to getting into the tractor space. To not have a Grapple would really, especially here with wooded land, would really be a disadvantage. I purchased the Frontier AV20F, I think it was. I got a lot of good information from YouTubers who reviewed it, and I have just been super happy with that. I did have to get the third function installed on my tractor to use it, but still it was worth it. I had saved up enough money to buy the tractor and have the third function and all these implements and the barn to store them in. We had a good year and I just wanted to get it all out of the way and have everything that I needed without future expenses coming to hit us. But that Grapple has just been fantastic. Just really love it. I love everything that I bought from Frontier and John Deere. I love, this isn't in my list of things, but I love the John Deere chainsaw mount. If that goes right on either the eye match, or I actually have it mounted on my bolt-on hooks chain box on the side, which I love as well. Again, not another thing that I'm listing in my list today, but just another few things that I'm very grateful to have. But I do like buying John Deere products. They just definitely work really well. And the next item on my list of implements that I'm very grateful to have is my Frontier Rake. This I did buy used off of Facebook Marketplace and got it for a great price, but I think it was actually new and hadn't been used before. And it is such a versatile tool. I actually use it in places I thought I was going to use my box blade, like for leveling my driveway and for leveling some of the parts of my field that have some ruts in it. But I love this rake. It just does such a great job. It's so easy to use. I am glad that I have the top and tilt functionality on the 3-point hitch, so I can easily adjust it as the terrain changes while I'm using it. I like how quickly it can clear our ATV and walking trails. It just does a fantastic job, much better than the chain harrow I used to drag behind my ATV. Also, I like how you can back up with it and push the pile of brush and debris and leaves and sticks off of the path by backing up and getting it out of the way. So I love that. It's something you can't do with the chain harrow. So really love that rake. I leave it on most of the time for either a ballast or for just the occasional time where I want to be able to use it. It just comes in handy all the time. The third implement or attachment that I'm grateful to have purchased for my John Deere 3033R tractor is the Pallet Forks. That's another just important thing to have when you need to move some trees or some wood. For me, I have a lot of Amish built hunting blinds, and to be able to lift those up and relocate them, or just to lift them up to raise them a little bit higher like I need to do for my main hunting blind. I'd like to get it up about a foot or two off the ground to get a better vantage point to a couple of the areas where the bucks tend to run. So really grateful to have that. And the one that I bought was one of the more reasonable ones. It wasn't a Frontier, but I've had no issues with it. I've been really happy with that. I'm not sure if you have to have a John Deere or a Frontier brand Pallet Forks in order to get good quality. It seems like what I have in this case works just fine for any use that I can think of. I'm definitely going to be using it a lot this summer and this fall with my projects. So there you have it. Those are the 3 implements that I regret purchasing and the 3 that I'm very grateful to have. But in general, I just want to thank God because I'm grateful to even have this property, let alone a tractor and these implements and a barn in which to store them. I never take that for granted because God has just been so good to our family and to the business that I own. And I'm just amazed at the abundant blessings that he's given, and I get to enjoy and use and share this property with others. And now with my beautiful little puppy Pumpkin. Get that rabbit. Go get it. I know that she's more scared of rabbits than they are of her. We have some small bunnies that have scared her quite a few times, and that was a larger one. Speaking of YouTube and being grateful for input on YouTube, not only about buying tractor implements, but how to train a puppy. Wow, an amazing thing to be able to watch so many videos and get so much help. We were really prepared, and she's done a great job with getting trained. Couldn't be happier. She is a perfect puppy. Aren't you, Pumpkin? Aren't you? Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. She's going to be my buddy here on the property. You're going to see her a lot in upcoming videos. Speaking of which, if you'd like to see Pumpkin grow up and see how she integrates into my off-grid lifestyle, please subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Well, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.